Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So if you've been following the page for a while, you know that I update my NHL player pyramids about every 6 months. A month ago, I did my updated Hellebuck Hill for goaltenders. Then 2 weeks ago, I did McCarr Mountain / Hughes Hill. They were both at the top of the defenseman pyramid. And now it's time for the centers. And as you can imagine, it's McDavid Mountain. McDavid, although he's not having the best regular season this year or last year, considering what he did in the playoffs, considering his track record, still the best player in the NHL. Without a doubt, in my opinion. But yeah, so McDavid is at the top. Obviously, it's McDavid Mountain. We got 5 different tiers within this mountain. We're going to work our way up. It's going to get skinnier like a pyramid does. And it's going to be good number 1 centers, then stars, superstars, and next up, and best. So yeah, let's not really waste any time. I think that this might be like my least controversial list of all time. I think that with the centers, it's very straightforward. Like, who's a good number 1 center, then that next jump, it kind of differentiates. Then after that other jump, it differentiates as well. And you can probably imagine what the top 3 of this. I don't think it's much of a shock who's going to be the top 2 tiers. So let's get into it. Let's not waste any time. Up first, the good number 1 centers. These centers are between like 9th to 19th. Is there 10 guys there? 9th to 18th then in the NHL in terms of centers. Not in any order. Again, this is why we do tiers. It's not in an order. But Tage Thompson, 34 goals in 59 games after a bit of a down year last year. Fully back in terms of being that top goal scoring level center. Very, very good player. What he brings to the table at 6'6", especially what he's developed defensively, has really been impressive. So yeah, I think that he's a top 35 player in the NHL. Me personally, definitely top 50 and one of the better centers in the NHL. Tim Stützle this season has 68 points in 66 games. Hasn't gotten to the same goal scoring level that we saw 2 years ago when he had 39 goals. He only has 20 goals in those 66 games. But much like Tage Thompson, his defensive game has really developed. He was kind of an all-offense center back in 2023 while being a solid physical presence. JT Miller, not as productive as last year, obviously, on the Vancouver Canucks. But still, since he kind of got to New York, he's been above a point per game, I believe. And Vancouver was just a mess. Up until they traded him. Obviously, there was a lot of beef within that locker room. JT Miller, still a very, very talented player. I think next year on a full season with the New York Rangers, probably going to go for 85, 90 points while being a physical beast. Sebastian Aho probably would be the next guy up within this tier list. Yet another like point per game season, not quite as productive last year when he had 89 points in 69 games, but still so good both ways. Carolina has been a contender the last couple of years, and Sebastian Aho is one of the main reasons why that is. But I still don't think that he has the offensive ceiling to quite jump into that like star tier. I think once you see the guys in star, you'll agree with me on that. But yeah, he'd be next up. Dylan Strome, some people might scream recency bias, but even the prior 2 seasons, he put up 65 points and 67 points on like mid as hell, well, straight up bad, not bad, but like 2023, they were kind of bad. And last year were just like mid. He was very productive on those teams. Now he's going for about a point per game this season, and his goal scoring is a little bit up compared to prior years. Yes, he plays with Ovechkin, but he's just such a good playmaker, and defensively is pretty sound. Dylan Larkin, I think that he's still kind of underrated in a way. What this guy brings to the table every single year, on pace for around 30-ish goals, point per game. Very, very good defensively. He's definitely a top 15 center for me. Mark Scheifele, him, Kyle Connor have been, and Gabe Vilardi as well, have been one of the best duos in the or trios, one of the best lines, point blank period. I think that they were 5th on my line list. He's been awesome. Nick Suzuki, not goal scoring at the same rate, but scoring at a higher points per game rate while being very, very good at defensively. Robert Thomas, one of the best passers in the NHL on a St. Louis team that doesn't have a ton of talent, has been consistently at around point per game the last couple years. And then Nico Hischier, around a mid 70 point-ish guy while being Selke level defensively. He's technically a number 2 center. I know that, or I don't know, him and Jack Hughes flip-flop. He's the second best center on his team, but there's obviously going to be another second line center on this team that's much better. But I think on most teams, Nico Hischier would be their number 1 center. Next up, we jump a tier. And yeah, I think in terms of the stars, I think that this is the clear next tier. When looking at Jack Hughes, before his injury, was on pace for a 90-ish point season while being awesome defensively. What he did in 2023 with 99 points last year, again, battling through injuries. It's definitely a concern with the injuries at this point, but when he's healthy, he's pretty easily a top 20 player in the NHL. I know he's going to draw a lot of criticism because he was bad in the 4 Nations, and I said that I won't like fully defend him as much as I did previously. He was like 11th or 12th in my top 50 player update. He's going to slide some spots, but still, it's not like this guy's never showed up when the lights are bright. In the 2023 playoffs, he had 11 points in 12 games. So I'm still putting Jack Hughes in this tier above, and I think given his transitional play and offensive talents, he deserves that. Sidney Crosby, probably going to have yet another point-per-game season. I think he ties or breaks Wayne Gretzky's record this season. Some of the highest hockey IQ in the NHL. The goal scoring isn't quite there as compared to last season, but still a monster, still a guy that you would want when the going gets rough in a game 7. You'd want few players more than Sidney Crosby. Braden Point on pace for another 40-ish goal season, as well as like 90 points. Beast in transition, him and Nikita Kucherov. He's definitely a 1B to Nikita Kucherov's 1A, not some kind of passenger. Jack Eichel going to shatter his points career high this season and has really led Vegas to a Pacific Division title most likely this season. He's been awesome. The third tier, superstars, pretty self-explanatory. Matthews this season isn't playing like a superstar, but when he's healthy, he's clearly battling through some type of injury. When this guy is healthy, he's probably a top 5 player in the NHL. 69 goals last year, 60 goals in 2022. He's fluctuated. One 60-goal season, then he comes crashing down in 2023. He only had like 80 points in 74 games, but he was also battling injury that year as well as the following season, killing it. He's just got to get healthy, which stinks because I feel like in the playoffs, he's going to say that he has like 9,000 injuries and probably going to disappoint. But when he's healthy, he's a monster, even though the playoff numbers have not exactly been there. Barkov, top 10 player safely after last season. He was already, in my opinion, a top 10 player, but now he's in the range of like 6 to 8 every single season, gives you around 90 to 95 point pace, but it's the defense that really ups him into this tier in terms of being that top 10 player in the NHL. Although I have Sam Reinhart winning the Selke right now, he's definitely a finalist. He's really only behind because he missed 10 games. But yeah, he's the perfect, ideal two-way, high IQ center. And then lastly, I'm just going to reveal both of the tiers here because it's kind of self-explanatory. Leon Draisaitl and Nathan MacKinnon have been better than Connor McDavid this regular season, and McKinnon was better last regular season, but no shit after what McDavid did in the 2024 playoffs. He still levels above the 2023 regular season with 153 points. But yeah, I think you got to ding Matthews. Matthews was in that tier with those guys after last season, after he had 69 goals, but you got to ding him a little bit, even though he is playing hurt, because these guys are balling out this season. Leon Draisaitl is on pace for like 60 and 60 this year, which is going to be so impressive. And Nathan MacKinnon has 103 points in 68 games. Yeah, these guys are going to be Hart finalists alongside Connor Hellebuyck, and it's going to be very well-deserved. And Connor McDavid still is playing great. He has 86 points in 61 games. He just missed a couple games because of his suspension, because of an injury. I fully expect Connor McDavid to maybe win the Hart next season if he's 100% healthy. Clear top 3 at this point in terms of the centers. I think 4 and 5 is pretty obvious. If you're getting a healthy Austin Matthews, then those next 4 are that clear tier, just considering what they bring to the table offensively, as well as defensively for guys like Crosby, Hughes, and Eichel, and Point 2 as well. Yeah, I think this is pretty straightforward. In terms of good number 1 centers, Macklin Celebrini, I think is you could make a strong argument. I just got to see a little bit more. I think this time next season when we update this, he's definitely going to be on this. Connor Bedard, if he gets half-decent teammates, going to be on this as well. I'm trying to think. John Tavares has been awesome this season. Do I still think he's a first-line center? Probably not. Rupe Hintz, very good as well. Solid number 1 center. Matt Duchene, solid number 1 center as well. I'm trying to think. I don't really think I snubbed anybody else. Anze Kopitar, monster start to the season, but has slowed down a little bit. Just doesn't quite have that offensive ceiling of a good number 1 center at this point. And yeah, this is kind of it. This is a relatively short video for me. Actually, no, we're going for like 9 minutes. Let me know in the comments, what do you think? I'm going to do Kucherov. I don't know, what would the K be in terms of like a Mountain? Kucherov. I don't know. Drop it in the comments what I should name that one. That one's going to be interesting. This one, pretty boring, pretty straightforward. I think the wingers is going to get very interesting in terms of fluctuating how to break the tiers apart. Let me know in the comments, what do you think? I'll be seeing you in the next one. Peace.